the view from high above the number 3 stand at Lancaster Park, and at 2:20 today, about 5 minutes ago, about 50 demonstrators ran onto the centre of the Lancaster Park pitch in a matter of 3 minutes. The riot squad had completely taken those demonstrators from the field, and there are the last of the demonstrators being taken out there, and the advertising hoardings being put up again, perhaps to act as defence of the ground in that particular area. And there is a group of officials from the local rugby union on the park inspecting for tacks and other bits of glass. They're well coordinated in a line, and as you can see, are searching very closely to see if there's any foreign matter on the pitch. There is a very big demonstration march also encircling the ground here at Lancaster Park in Christchurch. Within the stadium itself, there is a crowd of close to 40,000, and you see the scoreboard at the top end. All the people who tried to invade the pitch came from left of the scoreboard in a sparsely populated area of the field and came down through the policemen there, you can see, standing in a line. And that is the one area of the ground where there is no barbed wire. There is barbed wire completely along the front of the main bank, but not in that area there. And that left that part a bit exposed, and about 50 demonstrators got onto the field, but they were very quickly taken from the field, and it's quite obvious that there will be a delay of several minutes at least in this current situation before the test match is underway. It really, I wonder if the demonstrators actually had time to throw anything on the pitch. It was a very efficient operation by the police, and the demonstrators only made it, if you like, to the 22-metre mark before I guess they were heading for the centre of the park, and they were very quickly dispatched by the riot squad, who ran on at the double and enclosed the demonstrators. There are some men in the top right of the screen bending down very closely, so it seems there is something on the pitch over in that area which they're looking at very closely. Well, Graham Thorne, you've been an All Black. I guess if we can get this situation around to rugby, I guess you build yourself up to come on to a certain time, then a delay is something that'll make it very difficult indeed in the dressing room, won't it?
Well, the whole thing has been rather unsatisfactory because the Springboks were here very early this morning and coddled in the Victory Park boardroom. They had stretchers, etc., and that was quite early. And then the All Blacks came very early too.
So we'll have the game up shortly, and the crowd applauding the police and the officials who have cleaned this pitch after those 50 people tried to get on. Well, let's look at the teams for today's game. The New Zealand team has a new captain, Andy Dalton, and has 11 of the team that played and won so well against Scotland 2 months ago. In the backs, Fred Woodman is the only new test player. He'll be on the right wing today with Bernie Fraser on the left and Stu Wilson moving across to the centre position. The remainder of the backs stay the same, with Loveridge, Rollison and Jefford close to the scrum. In the forwards, two old-timers, if that's the term, come back. Ken Stewart and John Ashworth, both of whom have retired or stopped playing at various stages of recent years, are brought back into the All Black Test team. Graham Higginson returns too after injury. He returns to partner Andy Hayden at lock, and Ashworth joins Gary Knight and the captain Andy Dalton in the front row. The South African team, by comparison, has 5 new test players, and 4 of them are in the forwards. The newcomer in the backs is Darius Botha, who joins his brother Nas in the back line, Darius playing on the left wing. The centres, Willie du Plessis and Danny Gerber, are outside Nas Botha, and it's Nas Botha whose deadly kicking accuracy, both for goal and for distance and placement, will be vital to South Africa's winning chances today. In the forwards, Eben Janssen the flanker, Henny Becker the lock, and both the props, Hempis du Toy and Henning van Aspergen, are new test caps. The other 4 in the pack, though, are the top men of South African modern test forward play. Robbie Cockrell, the hooker who began as a test player in 1974, the brilliant number 8 loose forward Rob Lowe, the great line-out leaper Louis Moolman at lock wearing number 5, and the captain and the other flanker, Tjern Stoffberg. There's Tjern Stoffberg with the South African team, captaining for the second time his country, and here they come. and a great moment as Andy Dalton from Counties leads the All Black team onto the field. Captain for the first time, Andy Dalton. Just to repeat about the weather conditions, it was raining for most of the morning, and there are some sticky patches which you can see, especially around the half area. And now the national anthems. Well, there's been a clag up in the public address system. The South African team are not to hear their national anthem, De Stem, the voice of South Africa. There's just an apology on the public address system that there's been a breakdown with the tape. So the Springbok team getting up towards the kick-off position, and very soon this series will be underway. Today's referee is from England, Laurie Prideaux, who's refereed the Springboks twice before in their tour of South America last year, and he's refereed the All Blacks twice before, once at Hoyk in Scotland and once at Bridgend in Wales, 1978. So today's referee, Laurie Prideaux, begins the match, and that perhaps might be an indication of what the All Blacks are going to do as Danny Gerber takes it across the touchline. With me again in the commentary box today is Graham Thorne.
Well, there's some questions that have got to be answered today in this first test, especially in the loose forward play. The 3 New Zealand loose forwards against the 3 South African loose forwards, the 2 heavy men, plus Rob Lowe, the catcher at the back, the fetcher with Kenny Stewart.
Good take by Maxted. Leverage away to Rollison. Has the first high test for Casey Pina. Loose ball on the 22. That's Doug Rollison, and he is obviously looking to put pressure on Casey Pina's shaky reputation under the high ball. So here's Andy Dalton, the new All Black captain, to make the throw this time. And South Africa won that line out. New Zealand won that line out uncontested there. Maxted gets the ball here. Stefan Serpentine, the halfback, back to Nasporta. Doug Rollison went through rather close. So the first 2 throws went towards Murray Maxted at the back. South Africa expected to dominate the lineouts with Stoffberger playing at the back, number 7. Back to Dave Loveridge, one away to Rollison. Jeppin was standing flat-footed at halfway. Ruck back to Andy Jeppin. Darius Porter's got an intercept. 22 being chased by Wilson. What a great tackle. Alan Hewson, the fullback, puts it out.
Well, a bad pass by the All Blacks there. It started from Andy Jefford, who was standing flat-footed. It looked like they didn't know what was going to happen on the back line, and that was very dangerous for New Zealand.
Down towards one for South Africa. Look out for the Nasport drop kicks. The New Zealand team will have to be careful not to offend. There goes the drop kick. It's wide, and Fred Woodman is across. No, it's Bernie Fraser, left wing. There he is, obviously the vital man for the South Africans' winning chance today. And the All Blacks are going to play it at pace. They've drop kicked quickly from the 22. Here's Casey Pina. He's got two men back with him. A bad kick, screwing in field to halfway. Lost forward by John Ashworth. Botha kicks back. Alan Hewson will have time. Onto the left boot.
Well, even with the bad conditions, the greasy and heavy ball, New Zealand are determined to try and play the game at a fast clip.
Remember, off the back, Rob Lowe without a number already. There's a big jump by Henny Packer, number 4. Blocking by the South African team. Penalty to New Zealand. It's on the New Zealand side of halfway by 5 metres, and it's going to be Alan Houston's left boot. That's his better kicking side, of course, and he'll go for position down the touchline. That's not a good one, but he's got it out. Didn't hit it well. Alan Hewson from Petonia's 3rd Test match today, his 8th game in all for the All Blacks. First half. Cockrell throws to Becker. It's offside, line out. Nasport going for position. Well, remember, Nasport has scored 109 points in his 11 internationals so far, so he averages 10, but he averages also 4 successful kicks per Test match. That's what the New Zealanders will have in the backs of their mind. Positions like this, he's on for a drop kick at any stage. Hayden beats Moorman that time. That's Stockberg looking for support. He's got it from Henny Becker, just 10 metres out. Down and up, the referee was involved. It's back for the drop kick from Botha. And that's the first points on the board, and Botha has done it again. Nasport puts the Springboks into the early lead.
Well, we knew it was going to happen. It was a bit of a mess up in the line, and Andy Hayden got a touch to it, and it was Stockberg who took it forward, and Henny Becker drove on, the big man, the big second rower, and then it was a good clean feed. Now watch Botha, he's got all the time in the world. He's deadly with the right foot. There it is, all the time in the world. Jefford tried to knock it down, but it was 3 points.
So, Nasport, the danger man, averages 4 successful kicks per Test match. He's already got 1. And New Zealand are 3 points down. The early points in the Test have gone to the Springboks. You may notice our coverage here from Lancaster Park today is coming from the grandstand side of the game. We're looking towards the terrace side for this match. Dalton throws. Loveridge away to Doug Rollison, looking for a gap. Now he looked for the loose man. Into Maxted. Turning it in for the forwards, driving it hard with him up to the 22. Trying to turn it over. It's there for Loveridge. Well, was the man too soon? No, referee Prideaux has ruled a knock-on by Loveridge.
Well, we've been going 6 minutes now. This is the first scrum of the match, and this is going to be a test for both sets of forwards. The Springboks have put a very big pack in, and it's their ball. They're on defence. If they'd been on attack, they might have had a take to try and drive the All Blacks back. But I think it'll have to be a quick heel now. You can see already both front rows are trying for that ascendancy that they need so much.
That's Hempy's du Toit, Rob Cockrell hitting for Naspegen. John Ashworth, the New Zealand prop on the near side. Scrum collapsing at the halfway again. Serpentine, Botha going for the terrace side. Houston's got this one. Let it go. Advantage being played. Murray Maxted covering. Serpentine, and in over the top is Eben Janssen, number 6. Mark Shaw, number 6 for New Zealand. He was wobbling about that one, and Hewson might have taken his eye off it. It wasn't hit well by Borta, and Hewson dropped it. Knock on by the New Zealand team. Another scrum. 2 big packs. New Zealand front row, Gary Knight, Andy Dalton, John Ashworth nearest us.
Well, both hookers want the advantage. They want to be in the position so they know they're going to hook the ball. This is where Robbie Cockrell's got to be right before he can go down. He knows that he's got to strike that ball first.
Grabbing across to the left to straighten up. Serpentine. Turn. The big locks flick it back to Devan Serpentine. That's Alan Hewson on the 22. Springboks went over the top, and the expression is killing the ball, so they're penalised just inside the 22. Alan Hewson was under that one, and he's taken a knock. Remember, he is the lightest man in the field, probably, and he went under some very big beef from South Africa that time.
It was a very good kick from Serpentine because it was just outside the 22. It's very important to see now that the scrum, there's a lot of trouble with the scrum, but Serpentine, they wheeled the scrum to the right, and Kenny Stewart was watching there, but it was picked out by Robbie Lowe, and the little kick by Serpentine, you can see that Hewson had to jump up for it. And there he was taken by Serpentine. He couldn't get a pass away because the All Blacks weren't back in defence there, and that's where Hewson was, right on the bottom of that ruck.
Well, they're looking very closely at Alan Hewson, and if he's taken one in the head region, they'll check very carefully. That's his Wellington teammate there, Murray Mexted. Alan Hewson is not a man who is strongly built at all. He looks pretty sick to me. Now Malcolm Hood, the physiotherapist with the All Blacks, has come onto the field, and he's talking to Alan Hewson. Well, here's a chance for Brian McKechnie. He'll come down and warm up if Hewson will be replaced. It looks like Hewson is not going to be able to carry on. Here comes Brian McKechnie down to come on. A man with a great temperament.
Well, Brian McKechnie won't be able to go onto the field until Alan Hewson is declared medically unfit by the doctor. He's having a look at him now.
Meanwhile, the match carries on with New Zealand to kick from the penalty. 14 men on the field. So it's history repeating itself. Brian McKechnie is waiting to come on. The match goes on. Serpentine away to Borta. They're testing the gap. Mexted is there. Good catch by Mexted. Billy du Plessis onto him. Taken in by Graham Higginson. That's the 22 there. Mark Shaw. Straight into Serpentine. Trying to drive. That's Cockrell, number 2. Away to Andy Jefford. Pienaar. And that's out on the full. And the special cheer for one of the great men of temperament in New Zealand sport in recent years, Brian McKechnie. He's not wearing number 19 this time as he comes on. Remember how he came on as replacement against Wales, wearing that number 19, and turned out to be the match winner. Today it's 20, but Brian McKechnie going back to fullback. So number 6 is Eben Janssen, backing into his own men. Hayden is in there with it. Serpentine away to Porter again. This is going to put the pressure on McKechnie. He likes to catch the early ones, but it's Fraser. And I guess that'll be a confidence booster for Brian McKechnie. Remember when he came on against Wales in that famous game in '78? The first kick went to him in a difficult position. He caught it beautifully and put it away for a good touch finder. And that was a confidence booster to him in that game. Perhaps that one we've just seen will be the same for him here in 1981. So the battle goes on in the lineouts. It's 5 lineouts to 3 to the South African team in cleanly won lineout ball. And South Africa leads by 3 points to 0. Exted is looking very strong and resting and businesslike. It's back for Loveridge away to Rollison. A long kick. Pienaar watched by Ray Mort. And not a good kick for touch by Casey Pienaar, South Africa's fullback.
Well, Casey was under a lot of pressure over the last 3 weeks, but so far he's taken the ball well. He's not been scared to go in and take it.
Metre line is behind this one. Dalton Asue on Serpentine. Well, one presumes now that Dylan Houston has gone off the field that the goal-kicking responsibilities for New Zealand will probably fall on Doug Rollison, although Brian McKechnie is a well-performed kicker as well. Hayden back towards the back. Well, it's obvious what referee Prideaux means with that gesture. Elbowing of the players in the line-out. Here's Nasport. This is his 12th Test match. These Springboks include matches against South America. They've had 2 series of 2 in recent years as full Test matches. Dalton to throw. That's Van Oswagen. Dalton towing through to Ray Mort, who's caught 22-metre line. That's back, nicely protected for Serpentine. Back to Botha. Bernie Fraser. Straight into 2 or 3 of the South African team, and then up quickly. Fiery Bernie Fraser on the left wing for the New Zealand team, and that's his first real run with the ball for this very popular All Black left winger. So Cockrell to throw. South Africans are getting good line-out ball. Serpentine, big ball back to Botha. They're running this one. Du Plessis' kick. McKechnie is coming over and covered it across the touchline.
Well, that's the first time that Nas Botha has actually passed the ball. The game's been going nearly a quarter of an hour. It seems like the tactics are to kick it most times, but if the All Black backs don't come up quickly enough, as they didn't then, they can pass it out to Herbert or Du Plessis, who'll put the big kick across.
Somebody's hurt at the moment. It looks like Serpentine, which is interesting. The South Africans will be watching this rather anxiously. Their other halfback, Barry Volmerans, is already injured, and another halfback again arrives in the country tomorrow to be a replacement player. That's Howie Vasaki. And however, this doesn't look serious on Serpentine. He's a very live little halfback at 11 Test matches.
I think the All Blacks know they're in a Test match. They played 2 against Scotland, 1 in Dunedin, which was a pretty torrid affair, but this is a different kettle of fish. South Africa go into Test matches knowing exactly what it's all about, and they've played a lot of Test matches in the last couple of years, 12 in total, and this is actually their 12th Test, and they've played most of them at home, and they're probably a little bit more battle scarred, if that's the right word, than New Zealanders, who haven't played that number of Tests.
South Africans had this incredible tour to South America last year. where they really played some strange combinations there. Played in Chile and in Paraguay. They ran up some incredible scores, sometimes over 70 and 80 points. For instance, they played the Paraguay Invitation 15, won 84-6. They won the second match 79-18, and the third match 83-13. Not a bad start to the tour. That was last year. The match restarts. Long ball to Ken Stewart. What a good catch. Low on his back. Shaw. Loveridge. Good run by Loveridge. High ball out towards Fraser. Knock on against Bernie Fraser. Some good lively running, and Ken Stewart and Mark Shaw in good combination. Collapse at the front row again. It's a collapsing penalty against the New Zealand team. Penalties and free kicks favour South Africa by 3-2 at the moment. Cleanly one line-out ball, 7-5 in favour of the Springboks. Remember, they have big Henny Becker, who's 6 feet 6 inches tall, Louis Moorman, who they're the two locks. They have Tjern Stoffberg to jump as well. New Zealand using Higginson, Hayden and Mexted. There's Louis Moorman, one of the great lock forwards of the game today. Henny Becker to the right is the other lock. Stoffberg right down the back at 7. South Africa's captain today. Mexted got a good jump. Running it. Jefford. Wilson kicking through from centre for Woodman, who has been up. Back to Botha. This is Andy Jefford, right in the corner. Oh, he came into the left boot. And a mix-up there between Lowe and Nas Botha, and a knock-on by Rob Lowe. The scrum's collapsing a number of times. The loose head prop on the near side of the put-in is the man whose job is to hold it up to give the hooker the view. Rollison, just a little chip this one into open country. Came off a hand. Advantage being played. Pienaar caught. Referees let this go. Rob Lowe. He's got men outside him. Loveridge. That's out on the full from Taranaki halfback David Loveridge.
Well, the game's been going nearly 20 minutes now, and it's just starting to loosen up a bit. Both sides tried each other out with the big kicks. Now the ball's starting to be thrown round, and the good backing up from both sides is happening.
19 minutes gone. 3 points to nil. South Africa leads. A drop goal to Nas Botha. It's just near halfway, this one. Serfontein to Botha. This is the high kick in the centre. McKechnie under it. And Wilson made a good catch. Stuart Wilson. Mexted. Seemed to be grabbed by Botha rather high. That was Darius Botha. And Serfontein has tried for a drop goal. It's a drop out from the 22. Serfontein looks okay after that injury problem just a few minutes ago. So Rollison taken by number 1 John Ashworth. Loveridge the narrow side. He had space to move. Popped it up for Hayden, who went looking for support. Got dumped by Stoffberg. Loveridge finding Rollison to Jefford. To Wilson with McKechnie up. McKechnie threw it at halfway. This is Serfontein. Loveridge going back.
Well, that ball's a lot greasier than you realise. And there's also a penalty against the Springboks for playing it off the ball. for a foul outside the field of play, and it's been taken 15 metres in. Did you see what that was for,
I didn't see that, Graham. It just eluded me. Let's look again. It was when Loveridge came through. Looked like he was hit late after this. Yes, he was pushed over by Darius Botha. So the kick has gone up to this new position. That's halfway to the right, and after the drizzle of this morning, which was bleak and overcast and steady, it's a pretty afternoon here at Lancaster Park. Higginson, offside.
Back in the danger area now for Naas Botha inside the 22. It's on the left-hand side of the field, which is the perfect position for Naas Botha with that right foot boot. It's New Zealand's throw-in, but the line-outs are going to South Africa at the moment by 8-6.
So this is the key one then for the New Zealand chances. Higginson deflected it, Loveridge caught. Now it's the South Africans' ball. Time gone is 22 minutes. Just the Botha penalty goal so far. Drop goal, sorry. Taken by Becker. We could see another one coming up. Here it comes, perhaps. Oh, let it go. Dani Gerber. Pienaar up. Raymond dropped it.
Well, Naas Botha had a quick look at the goal post. You can see Andy Jeffrey was up there very quickly, so he passed it out on the right, and it looked dangerous until Ray Mort dropped the ball.
Rollison's bounced that one between Mort and Pienaar. There's Doug Rollison, his third test match today. Scorer of 68 points in the All Black shirt. Played a great game for Manawatu against the South Africans. A good jump by Louis Moolman. Serpentine, Botha having a little run. Loveridge down and up, lost it. Gerber's there. Rollison at halfway. That's Hempis du Toit there. Mark Shaw, Hempis du Toit, new test player in the Springbok front row. He's the tight head man. So he'll be trying to disrupt the New Zealand put in by pulling down on his opposite, making it as uncomfortable for the loose head prop for New Zealand and the hooker, getting the view distorted. Robbie Cockrell is up. He's the hooker. He comes from a family of hookers. His brother was a Springbok as well. So who's up here? Gary Knight is up. So the muddy patch there, Loveridge, Rollison. Bounced it out. That's about the best that could be said for that one. Wasn't hit with great precision at all. So here's the result of New Zealand being down 10-7 in the line-out count. Botha. Oh. Keckney going back to try and recover this one. Not ruled a knock on. Look how Moolman went through and then he turned Jefford over. South Africans might have this one. No, it's gone to New Zealand. The way to Rollison.
Well, Laurie Prideaux, the referee, played the advantage there for the McKechnie knock-on, right back with that high up and under by Naas Botha, which was good refereeing by Laurie Prideaux. Everybody thought that he was going to let that play go, but he has the option of just letting it go as long as he wants to.
Could be on again here for the drop kick for Botha. It's handy to the posts.
The All Blacks have got to try and wheel the scrum to the right, to their right, so that they can stop Serpentine passing out to Border on his right. If they can wheel that scrum towards the touchline, they're going to cut off the access that Serpentine's got.
That's a tight hit. Rollison into open space. Fraser coming through. It's been left behind. Stu Wilson finally kicked it on. Here's Stuart Wilson moving into the centre today. He's had 5 other games as centre in his All Black career, including a test match at Twickenham, remember, 1979. Plays for a lot of rugby for Wellington and with his club in the centre position. Likes it, in fact. Serpentine. Minutes gone, first half. Nas Botha's dropped goal to 0. Penalties and free kicks now, a lot of them coming from lineouts. 5 to South Africa, 3 to New Zealand.
There's a lot of niggly play going on at the back of that line, a lot of pulling and pushing, as most number 7s and number 8s do more pulling and pushing than jumping, actually.
What was the thinking there? Graham, he tapped it. He could have kicked it out in the full anyway because it was a penalty. Didn't indicate a free kick.
I think that probably Serpentine should have passed it to him in further. Because it was close to the right-hand touchline, he was kicking with his right foot. Might have been a bit difficult.
Here's Ken Stewart and Mexted trying for the loose ball. Shaw, the third loose man, is there. Doug Rollison with the drop kick. Low and flat and away to the left. Ball being run up by Nas Botha. Higginson made the catch, a good one. It's there for the New Zealand team. Loveridge, Rollison, Jefford trying to loop, lost it by Billy du Plessis. Henning van Aswerken is the first forward there. Now it's Jefford again, caught by Hempys du Toit. Good work by the Springboks props. That's again won by the All Blacks. Loveridge nudging it ahead. Woodman through. Darius Botha has it. Loveridge has him. And Higginson. Penalty to the Springboks. Loveridge going back a bit slowly. He had some tough treatment on that pile up. And Botha is going to place kick it for touch from here, just outside the 22.
Well, because he's on that side of the field, he can drift it in like a draw shot in golf. Kick it in towards the field and then just drift it across as he's done there. And he's got, what, nearly 25 to 30 metres where he's only a foot from the touchline.
Certainly has great accuracy. Ignatius Botha, known as Nas. Big crowd from the terrace, about 35 to 40,000 people here today. Serpentine, what's this one? A penalty this time to New Zealand.
That was pushing at the back of the line out there on Mexted as he went to take that ball.
Man giving directions there is the Springbok captain, Chen Stoffberg. And it looks like this one could go out for a high kick. That's a little movement. Oh, and a good move. Woodman. Pressure now on the Springboks at the 22. Big Hayden making giant strides. And Murray Mexted going through, but that was an interesting and new variation on the tap penalty.
Well, I think the South Africans thought it was going to be another bomb.
So they're keeping the South Africans thinking. Now a good position for the New Zealand team.
Brian McKechnie's right out to the right of your picture.
They've Got it, narrow side, Loveridge kicking through. This is Rob Lowe, corner flag. And Rob Lowe just taking the touchline as his sanctuary as Woodman came through. 28 minutes gone.
New Zealand been pushing the ball towards the end of the line out. Number 8, Mexted there.
Goal line is right there. Scrum is called by Laurie Prideaux. The crowd watching the referee. When his arm went up for the New Zealand put in, there's a healthy cheer going up. Dalton's got the hook, Mexted off. Loveridge to Rollison. He's in!
Well, just as that try was scored against Scotland at Eden Park, it's a very simple move. Mexted just gets it now. Watch Rollison at pace. If you watch him now, he's coming, and there he is, very close to Dave Loveridge. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. The corner flag at the far of your picture, but the old arms went out, and the try was awarded.
Rollison attempting to convert his own try. Close by, but to the right post as we look at it here. 4 points to 3.
Well, that's the first pressure that the All Blacks have actually put on South Africa in the match, and they scored the try. So it just shows you that you've got to get up there to put the pressure on. And South Africa looked not too good under pressure there, especially on the short side.
So New Zealand in the lead. 32 minutes gone in the first half, with Alan Hewson having left the field and been replaced by Brian McKechnie, and Henny Becker is offside. Jefford is the kicker. This is Ray Mort. And Wilson and Fraser, two great friends and colleagues, comrades on the rugby trail. Mix Ray Mort well and truly. That was the Wipers kick across field by Andy Jefford, who's played a lot of rugby here in Christchurch, was 3 seasons in Canterbury, knows the ground well. Deflected for Loveridge. He's got Stockberg at the same time. Rollison crashing into Serpentine. Ken Stewart with him. Loveridge, the blind side, into Gary Knight. Lost. Becker has it. Serpentine.
Well, New Zealand have upped their game in the last 5 or 10 minutes. So they're starting to look like a side. Perhaps the build-up wasn't as good as they'd like today, and now they know they're in a test match. But South Africa is still being able to get that loose ball, and they're controlling it. In that situation, they controlled it a lot. They weren't going to lose that ball at all.
Eben Janssen towards the back, Stockberg behind for the South African team. Rob Lowe is off the back. Hayden getting up, Extend tapped it down. Higginson does the tidying up. Loveridge, Rollison, here's the testing ball for Nasport and Pienaar, but it was Danny Kerber who got it away to Willie du Plessis. McKechnie has the bounce. Porter claiming a fair catch. The referee gave it to him, and McKechnie's down.
Well, McKechnie kicked over the top, but as he went past, he just got a knee in the groin. Here it comes, he picks it up well. Now what you can see, he's got to kick now because there's lots of players around, so he kicks, and well, it could have been dubious. I don't think I would have liked to have given a late tackle for that, Keith.
Now Jeffords kicking back from Porter's free kick. That's where play will start again at the line-out. New Zealand ball throwing. The line-out count is now 11-9, with the New Zealand team picking its game up in the last few minutes. It's closed up the gap in the line-out count. 11-9, the South Africans have won just slightly more ball now. Mixed held back there, it looked like. Referee Prideaux was not in a good position to see. Stewart, away to Wilson. Stu Wilson. That's a try, and a brilliant one for the flying Wellington centre.
Well, you see a lot of obstruction at the back there between Maxted and Lowe, but then it was Ken Stewart that was there. The ball seemed to be kicked through by Jeffett, and Stewart picked it up, but Jeffett was in front of him. Now watch Stuart Wilson. That's the same sort of try he scored against Scotland, but two Springboks were converging, but he had the pace and the strength to go over for the try.
Oh, what a fine player, Stuart Wilson of Wellington. Wallason has the kick at 8-3. It's handy enough for possibly two more. 10 points to 3 with Wallison's conversion.
Well, that's the thing about Stuart Wilson. He's always in the right place at the right time. Appeared from nowhere there for that try.
Serfontaine. New Zealand players are offside. South Africa could close the gap up here with this one. So it's right over there on the touchline. The Porter will have a go. It's on a firm patch of the park. What do you think, Graham? He's got a good chance from here.
It's on the perfect side for Naas Porter, with a round-the-corner kicker. The left-hand side is the one he's now giving the ball back. He can't do that. He's got to take the ball that the penalty was given for. He can't just choose the ball he wants to play with. He'll be able again to draw the ball round and give him a bigger target area from that side. So he'll have to kick to the right of the post to just draw it through. Every kick that Naas Porter takes he must have a 75% chance of slotting it.
This is his first place kick and goal today. Naas Porter at 10 points to 3, New Zealand lead. He didn't hit that strongly at all.
I think that's perhaps why one of the other ball, Keith, that was a little bit drier.
Wallison's taken a quick one out towards the right, and a soccer kick by Naas Porter. Jeffett again onto that left foot, which he doesn't look strong on. Second time he's had to kick it like that from down in that corner. Dalton's making a quick throw, taken by Stewart. The All Blacks are picking the pace up here with the confidence of the 6-point lead. Driving in hard, midfield between the 22 and halfway. Loveridge, Wilson, Jeffett. Not a good kick, it more or less went straight up. That's John Ashworth, number 1 over there. Serfontaine, as the Springboks win it, Porter running it. Willie du Plessis to Dani Gerber. Ray Mort. No, that's Gerber. Good chance here. Which way the bounce is going to go? Gerber trying to put it in field. And a good counter-attack led by number 13. And there he is, Dani Gerber.
Well, the Springboks have shown that they can spin the ball, they can run with the ball. And that was only some good defensive work by New Zealand, Bernie Fraser, that got them out of it. Naas Porter, he thought he was going to kick, but again he sums up the situation so quickly.
So Becker looking for perhaps a jump here with him. The Springboks right in attack. Loveridge has it, backing into trouble. Someone's down. Well, Mark Shaw was involved in something there with this man. Let's look again. Look for Mark Shaw. pulls him, and then there's a bit of a swing and a big right hand from Mark Shaw.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that it was just retaliation, but referees don't like retaliation. But Mark Shaw, as he did in Australia last year, he doesn't take punches very well in the way that he just comes straight out and whacks the guy back. And we're getting the penalty. New Zealand are getting the penalty. So Mr. Prideaux said the first offence was the kick, was the punch.
It was Eben Janssen, the Springbok. Well, half-time is coming up. 10 points to 3. Rollason, a conversion, 2 tries, 1 to Rollason and 1 to Wilson. Serpentine, away to Botha, running it again. Gerber, Pienaar up. Now Fred Woodman, if he can get the bounce, there's trouble. Woodman into the centre where Dalton is. Ray Mort. That's coming down to where Rollason has it. Crunched, and a good tackle by Janssen. Stockberg and Loveridge. Advantage being played. Rollason keeping the heat on. Pienaar under it, looking into the sun. Claims his fair catch. And that is half-time. The whistle going from referee Laurie Prideaux of England, and New Zealand with tries by Rollason and Wilson. A Rollason conversion to a Naas Botha penalty goal. New Zealand leading South Africa at half-time by 10 points to 3. New Zealand leading at half-time by 10 points to 3. And the highlight undoubtedly, the try by Stuart Wilson. Remember, he got 3 in his last test appearance against Scotland. 1 in the first test, 3 in the second, makes 4. And now another one today makes 5 for the season. And he's now scored 12 test match tries. And Ian Kirkpatrick's record of 16, which is the record, a clear break now. But Wilson is putting that under real threat. His first game of football for some weeks after an injury problem. And my word, he took his chance there. Referee Laurie Prideaux begins the second half, and Naas Botha kicks off with New Zealand having a 7-point lead at half-time. Here's John Ashworth, and he's ruled offside. He's ruled offside, and the crowd took that one in stunned silence, really, Graham Thorne.
Well, there seemed to be a knock-on from the kick-off by South Africa, and then another knock-on by New Zealand, and then Mr. Prideaux penalises Ashworth for the penalty.
So here are the most famous feet in South Africa, belonging to Naas Botha, and he's about 40 metres out on the angle. Second shot at goal for penalty today. That's his second miss from place kicks. He's missed 2 now. He had such a good beginning with that early drop goal. Rollason kicks off. Deep over halfway. It's Naas Botha back there. Here's Andy Jefford. Well, they're going to use the Jefford right boot this time. Botha, again a high kick. Who's going to get under this one? Dave Loveridge. And that is ruled out on the full, going right back up to where Dave Loveridge took that kick. A little kicking contest there between the two teams, not finding the line.
At test match level, it's not really very good, but that ball just curved in over the line here, where the line is now.
Referee Laurie Prideaux is an Englishman. He's 35 years of age. He was sent out to South America to referee the international in South Africa and South America last year. He's had the New Zealand team twice and once on 2 tours. 1 minute in the second half. The New Zealand team finished the first half looking strong and much more unified than they began the half. Now we see Gary Knight against Henning van Aswegen on the near side of the scrums in the second half.
Things are getting a little bit close in the front row. Gary Knight is having a great battle there with Henning van Aswegen.
So it's low, up to Serpentine, to Darius Botha. Murray Mexted across. We haven't seen much of Darius Botha in the match. They had a couple of good runs in the first half, including a near breakaway. Knock-on called. New Zealand scrum held there. Loveridge running into Eben Janssen. Lineouts in the first half finished at 11 each and cleanly one ball. And that'll be pretty good encouragement for New Zealand. Twisting and turning now. Moolman is there to help. Looks like Hempy's Victoria. All Black forwards arriving. And the old shout coming up from the terraces here at Lancaster Park. The heave. It's there. This is Rob Lowe. Away to Darius Botha. But it's a forward pass. One of the best running chances down the left wing for Darius Botha, but the pass from Rob Lowe was forward.
And actually, even though New Zealand were pushing South Africa back, South Africa had the whole thing under control. Rob Lowe had the ball and was just quietly turned away from New Zealand the way they went.
Loveridge, a good swinging pass to Rollison. Oh, Eben Janssen well and truly blocked him. I think it's Mexted making the drive in there. Loveridge away this time. Jefford. McKechnie up, the replacement. Full back, and he was taken in the head high. The crowd is booing. McKechnie is on the ground. Play goes on. Darius Botha covering. Fraser got through on Pienaar. This is Darius Botha covering from the left wing. McKechnie is down. You might see him in the foreground here. There he is. And Loveridge. And it's out. Let's find McKechnie and see how he is. That was high. He's up and looking a bit shaken, I think you'll agree.
Mr. Prideaux is talking to Stoffenberg. You can see it now. He went to kick, and the tackle was definitely a dangerous tackle, very high.
Well, one hesitates to say these things. It's such a difficult touring situation. But the South African team will have to, I think it's necessary for them to keep a friendly relationship with the rugby people of this country, and they have not really attended to that too well in the high tackling department, and they have been guilty of high tackles in every game without exception on this tour, and that's a fact.
Well, the game is going to go on the boil now, because the All Black team are not going to put up with this almost nonsense, and you'll see now that the scrums are going to get a little bit more hectic.
5 minutes gone, second half. 10 points to 3. That's Henning van Aswegen. See the way he made the turn after his initial burst for the maul. There's a bit of punching over on the far side. Now Loveridge will be able, the whistle had gone. New Zealand players fringing around, we're offside. It's back at halfway, so they're staying, keeping out of Nas Botha's range. Good kick, he didn't kick it hard. Placed it into the corner, and he's gained about 30 metres for the team. South Africa took the lead with a drop goal after 5 minutes. Then Rollison scored a try 25 minutes later, and Wilson after 36 minutes in the first half. More pushing. Penalties and free kicks, 10 to South Africa and 7 to New Zealand.
Well, the Lions are now becoming a bit of a lottery. When they started off early in the game, both sides were taking two-handed catches.
Porter keeping it in play, a high one. Who's under it? Higginson and Hayden. Two big skyscrapers. Hayden did some excellent work there. Loveridge, Rollison, Wilson, McKechnie up, Woodman. It was Gerber who made the tackle. Stoffberg, advantage being applied. Serfontein, Dani Gerber. Rollison is back in the fullback position. And that's an excellent play by Doug Rollison, covering Brian McKechnie, who was turning, covering him well and got it away to touch.
And very good refereeing again by Laurie Prideaux, who let the advantage go for a long, long time. Even though South Africa didn't look as though they had a definite advantage, they just let the play go, and then they did get that advantage, but then they kicked it away.
And 6 minutes gone, second half. Loveridge, Rollison, Jefford, Fraser up. Gerber's tackle, scragged him down. Darius Porter, Wilson arriving. Mexted two. Serfontein to Porter. Loose ball. Gerber, kicked away by Loveridge. Haas Porter under real pressure. It's just outside the 22, short and fast to Ashworth. Knock on by the Springboks through the line out.
There's definitely a bit of aggro going on the front rows. In South Africa, they make it's almost a pastime, a hobby, front rows. They call them front rankers in South Africa.
Mexted caught trying to drive it with Ken Stewart. Mexted's getting through. Good drive by Marie Mexted. The 22. Loveridge, Rollison, Jefford running up. Long cut-out ball. McKechnie's down again. Played off Brian McKechnie's hands. Yes, it could be a knee problem for McKechnie. He's not moving well. But Lockie Cameron back in the reserves too. Turning scrum. Not right. In again. Serfontein trying to test McKechnie to see how that knee is, I think. Stoffberg is there. Jefford picked it up nicely. Stoffberg again, another tackle. Jefford, Loveridge, Rollison, Pienaar. Good, strong player, Doug Rollison. Really aggressive.
But there the Springboks were making the first-time tackles. Wherever New Zealand went there was a Springbok to take him in a good diving tackle, and the ball went down. But then suddenly the ball did come back to Rollison, who made a very good touch inside the South African half.
Is this John Ashworth, is it? Ken Stewart it is. Having his first game for the All Blacks since November 1979. And he's got a cut in there.
It's a pretty torrid affair, this test match at the moment. One thing that all the sides have said to me after playing the Springbok were that they've been in 80 minutes of football. The South Africans were a very physical side. They went into the rucks and mauls physically, and when they came up against them, the provincial players knew that these guys were for real. And test matches are played at a very fast clip, and this one is no exception. It's really turning to be one of the best test matches over the last few years.
11 minutes, second half. No change since the half-time break. 2 tries to 0, the All Blacks lead. Andy Hayden's done pretty well, kept that line-out count very even. Serpentine, Porter. McKechnie getting back. Didn't find the touchline. That's Loveridge covering back behind the goal line. A touchdown. So Stuart Wilson is the planner of the back line for the New Zealand team, along with Dave Loveridge, the 2 experienced men. Wilson's 19th test, Loveridge's 10th test match today. Taken by Moolman. Loveridge. This is a good game. Well, right up to the 22 by Dave Loveridge.
And how exasperating it is for a forward pack to have the ball won and suddenly it pop into the opposing halfback's hands and he knocks back 55 to 60 metres.
Mixted nearly got it. Kent Stewart has it to Shaw, to Mixted. Thrown down right on the line. Mark Shaw. Try number 3 for Mark Shaw.
Well, after that great kick from Dave Loveridge, the ball went was a Moolman tap. Now watch how the action starts now, where the All Blacks are going forward, the Springboks and all sorts of array. Kenny Stewart with the headband, Mark Shaw there with the burst inside. Now Mark Shaw gets up, watch Mark Shaw, he's down on the ground now. Suddenly the ball rolls out to him, no one there, and over for the try.
Shaw scored it in combination with the other 2 loose men, Murray Mixted and Ken Stewart. The kick to come, and it's handy enough. This could be 16 points to 3. Well, a miss there by Rollison. 14 to 3 it'll be. So Border kicks off. Out of the field, getting a bit rattled perhaps, the South African team.
Nas Border doesn't make too many mistakes, but he has missed the line a couple of times today, and that is a very bad kickoff. Just what the All Blacks wanted. A scrum on halfway in the middle, and there put it.
Rollison. Pienaar coming forward, just a little skid on the mud. Casey Pienaar from Woodman's charge. McKechnie. Scoring at the midfield. This is Higgy, Canterbury favourite, Graham Higginson. Took it in real tight, still moving. Just thinking about that lead the All Blacks have got, Graham Thorne. Didn't they have a lead like this, something like this last time they played here at Lancaster Park?
I don't think we'll even talk about that, Keith.
Remember, the New Zealand team, I think, had 16-3 that day, and the South Africans came back late in the game to win it 19-16.
And Tiny Nordier is actually in the grandstand today.
Tony Nordier being the man, the Springbok lock forward, who kicked the famous goal to give the Springboks the win in 1965. Their only win of that series, in fact. Incidentally, New Zealand has won 13 games against South Africa, but South Africa have won 19 against New Zealand. There have been 2 draws. So Andy Dalton, perhaps on the way to winning, first time out as Test captain. Rollison towards Woodman. Stockberg took his eye off the ball and looked at Woodman. So it's down in the corner with pressure on the South African line. 3 tries to 0. Rollason having a word. Here's the move. This is what it's going to be, lads. Short throw by the Springboks to Millman. Hayden's got it. Untidy. Dalton. That's the corner flag just ahead. But again, we go back to a South African put in. So Robert Cockrell to throw. A few more in the line this time. Good jump by Becker. Referee's got it in his view. Loose ball. Botha.
Well, the referee declared that Rob Lowe had actually forced the ball down before he gave it to Botha. So everything's on now for the New Zealand 5-metre scrum. They've got quite a big blind, 15-metre blind, but McKechnie's right out in the middle, so perhaps it might be another number 8 move.
It's Shaw again, driving off Mexted. So it's even closer now than that previous 5-metre scrum.
And they've got a bigger blind side. Perhaps the number 8, like they did with Rollison's try, go the blind side.
It's clear, swung to Rollison for a drop kick from his left boot. So rather cast away the chance that time. Doug Rollison with the miss from the drop kick attempt.
He was on his left foot. He had to have the left foot drop kick. He looked a little casual, if anything.
Serpentine finding Botha out wide. Freddie Woodman. Botha. Here's the other New Zealand winger, Bernie Fraser. Morton made a good tackle to Jefford. Fraser's had a problem with his leg, Graham. I just wonder if you think he's not quite right.
Well, the play hasn't gone his way, if anything, in this test match, but both times he's got the ball, he seemed to still have that momentum he had in the Scottish test. He didn't look that good at training, though.
Penalty to South Africa. Looking again at the line-out count. 15 to South Africa, 14 to New Zealand. Penalties and free kicks, 11 to South Africa, 7 to New Zealand. 2 tight head strikes to Andy Dalton. Higginson took that one. Gary Knight. Mark Shaw with him. Ken Stewart. Now Fraser getting through now on Serpentine. Loose ball. Played beautifully. That's Ashworth. This was a great run through, led off by Gary Knight, then Stewart. And I think at the end of this you'll see popular press photographer Peter Bush on the touchline really moving very fast to get out of the way because it was really moving there. So New Zealand getting a number of good positions for put-ins here. Mexted lining up on the left side of the backed position. Clear this way to Rollison. Wilson coming through straight at them. Up to Mexted. Out in front of the post by about 15 metres. Jefford with the drop kick. Well, every time New Zealand have tried a drop kick attempt today, the ball has gone flat and low. I think there's hitting 3 misses altogether.
I think they've got to the stage where they're up by 14 points to 3 and they want an extra 3 points quickly, but they had an overlap on the right, it looked like, and Jefford had a drop kick.
Bright sunshine. Players looking towards that kick would be in trouble, shading their eyes. That's Eben Janssen. Serpentine to Botha. Woodman, the ball is still alive, it's still in the game. Nice water covering a lot of ground. That's another kick that hasn't found the line. Rollison running hard. Hayden there looked like it might have been knocked on. No, it's away this time to Jefford. Long past the cutout. Wilson trying to flick it on to Fraser. Pienaar taking it across, but we're back to midfield where Wilson's pass was quite obviously forward out to Bernie Fraser on the left wing.
New Zealand trying to pass the ball now, get it away from the tight stuff, which I think South Africa might be having the better of the duel in the tight. In the lineouts, South Africa are putting in 5- and 6-man lineouts because there's so much obstruction going on. The number of two-handed takes they took in the first quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, is now diminished, and the tapping has started. As they're pushing and shoving, and obstruction means that if you can get 6 men in the line-out, you haven't got as many players pushing up, and the referee, if anything, can see the obstruction easier. I think South Africa decided that this is especially on defence, the way to show the referee that there is obstruction in there. The Springbok camp have been very hot on the referees in New Zealand because they haven't been allowed to get the two-handed takes, and there's been so much pushing and shoving. But it just shows you that even though they've imported a referee from 12,000 miles away, Mr. Prideaux, there's still the same obstruction in the lineouts.
You'll notice that we have a slight problem with the sun. Of course, every principle of photography is don't take pictures into the sun, and it's only because of security reasons that we're across the side looking into the sun. And that's the problem that there will be as the game goes on from our bottom camera. The game restarts, Serpentine wearing the bandage around the head. And another strike for Andy Dalton off Cockrell. Rollison to Wilson, caught by Billy du Plessis. Loveridge again, probing the narrow side, kicking ahead for Woodman. Darius Botha, just about at the 22-metre line. And I think this is New Zealand loose forwards are going pretty well. I think it's one of the best games I've seen Murray Mexted play for some time.
Well, I don't think that Murray Mexted has been like this since the Australian tour when he got that virus before the third test. And in Wales he wasn't 100%, but now he's really charging into everything.
That's a free kick against Dave Loveridge back at the put-in. Time gone is 20 minutes, second half. Bending it around, as Graham Thorne told you in the first half, with the draw shot from that side of the field. Dalton throwing deep, we're low, and Stewart having a good go. This will be a penalty. Well, it went to South Africa. I think it could have just as easily gone the other way.
Well, I think the referee couldn't really make up his mind who was going to get it, but perhaps it's defensive side's penalty.
Botha again.
I think he's starting to panic, Keith.
He's put it up into the air. Hayden is there. Shaw went down and got it. Here's Loveridge, Rollison. Well, you can't also beat the game by Doug Rollison today. Apart from kicking it once or twice when perhaps there were men outside him, he's done everything well and aggressively as usual.
And now the pressure's being put on South Africa by both Loveridge and Rollison. They're pushing it back into the South African territory, and this is what they're... Well, in the last quarter of an hour, South Africa have only got into the New Zealand half twice.
Dave Loveridge's voice. Again, probing by Rollison. Pienaar. Remember, history is against the touring team. Winning the first test of a Springboks All Blacks series, the touring team, whether it be in South Africa or New Zealand, has never won the first test. Serfontein, Botha running the ball, Gerber, Ray Mort, du Plessis, Woodman, 22, Fred Woodman, to Andy Dalton, down and dumped it and up. That's Ken Stewart with the ball there. Good one for the All Blacks to win. Now Rollason with the drop kick. And again a miss.
Well, I think it's becoming an obsession now among the All Black backs to have a pot. Well, then they had everything going for them. They had the Springboks in all sorts of disarray. Ken Stewart went and got the ball and came back well to Loveridge, but then Rollason decided that he'd have a pot.
That's 4 drop kick attempts New Zealand's had in the game, and they've missed. So Loveridge has distributed the ball well. 3 drop kick attempts by Rollason have all missed, and 1 by Jefford. Becker going high, Moorman taking it. Serfontein, Botha. Ken Stewart grabbed at him. McKechnie coming in with a great catch, just like an Aussie rules footballer. Loveridge to Rollason. Hooking it back in like a basketballer to Wilson. Forward pass, that's Eben Janssen, whose brother Yogi Janssen was a key man for the Springboks in 1970 in the centre position. But the Springboks are just kept back in this ruthless period of pressure by the New Zealand team. You see 3 New Zealanders through, hanging onto the shoulder of Naas Botha as he made that kick. The Springboks are in a real bottleneck here at the moment. Ashworth got the deflection. Loveridge tapped off his fingers and put out by Doug Rollason. Hayden's further down the back for that one. That's Empress to Toy. Serfontein clears it to Botha. Out to Willie du Plessis, now Danie Gerber, up over halfway, what a great move. Danie Gerber, the man inside of him is Stuart Stoffberg. Out to the 22 and he's rolled it ahead. Botha, won't be a try there as Fraser comes across on Botha. Stoffberg's pass was forward, but there are the Springboks bravely trying to break out. And Darius Botha goes down after Fraser came in high to stop him on the goal line.
Well, they've said that the Springbok centres can't run the ball, but they showed then they can run the ball, even in conditions like this. There was a very good little scissors from du Plessis and Gerber looked like he might have started on scoring one of the great tries in Springbok All Black history. We can see now how Serfontein started to Botha. They were very flat, the Springbok backs, but then du Plessis started. Watch Gerber come inside him. There, and he put the All Blacks on the wrong foot. Mexted missed him. Away he goes now. Stoffberg's the next one up, and now it looked dangerous out to the left because there was also Becker there, but as he passed to Botha, the ball went forward and Bernie once again came across to cover a little high.
13 minutes to go. New Zealand leading by 14 points to 3. Loveridge with the ball. It's another kick that's not found touch. Casey Pienaar changing his mind, starting to run. Brave fight back by the South African team. Du Plessis. Now it's Gerber with the ball again. Running into Higginson. Loveridge. Casey Pienaar back. Ray Mort. Oh, a punch up now in midfield. Fraser's involved. and this is bad indeed. Darius Porter came in and dropped someone from behind. And that is bad, bad business. Now, why did that start, Graham Thorne? It was slightly to the right of our camera, I think.
I think it was the late tackle on Casey Pina, if anything. I don't think it was a late tackle, but Casey Pina took exception to it. Here's the replay. There goes the pass from Casey Pina, and Woodman hit him a little high, and he didn't like it. Hit his shoulder, and that's where it started right back.
It was Bernie Fraser. And I tend to think that was a foul by Fraser on Pina. And yes, Fraser has been called across. He went in high with a stiff arm action, and that's a bad foul. And that started a rumpus that carried on for some time, and there was some quite vicious fighting in there.
I don't think the referee can do much about a big... perhaps we can look at it again and see how the tackle from Fraser was a little high.
Andy Dalton's calling his men across. I think he might have to pass the word on. Let's look at it again. Watch Fraser come in on Pina, and he sets himself, and the arm goes up right across the neck. That's a foul to me. So a penalty has been given to South Africa, and that is 10 minutes to go. The kick right down to the corner.
Well, now from that penalty kick that Naas Porter has put South Africa right on attack, 10 metres out from the goal line.
So Staunton going across. I'm sure there was a general warning there from Mr. Predo, and Lockie Cameron is down on the sideline warming up. 14-3, 3 tries to 0. Serfontaine now away to Naas Porter. Oh, nice little break and kicking wide for his brother. Now Brett Woodman got across and put it out. Still a good margin. I'm just wondering which of the New Zealand backs is in trouble with that injury, if Cameron is down there. Looks like it could be Wilson. He's had trouble, and Wilson is limping off. He had trouble in the build-up to this match. Stuart Wilson going off after scoring a brilliant try in the first half. So that's why Cameron is there. But Wilson will have to be checked by a doctor before the replacement can be made. So Mark Shaw coming onto the wing. Looks like they're playing Woodman in a sort of central position. You see the New Zealand team just getting organised. Shaw's going to play his defensive back role there. And Cameron now comes in. Lachlan Cameron of Manawatu replaces Stuart Wilson. So 2 replacements in the backs by the All Blacks in this game. Nine minutes to go in the game. Kenny Becker lifting off another man. Ken Stewart was in for the crash tackle on Becker. And Rollison clears to touch. And a great reception being given Stuart Wilson as he leaves the field. One of the most admired players in the game in this country at the moment. Back live, the action continues with Kenny Stewart. And now look at Dalton, the captain, go. Popping it up. Off to Mark Shaw, who's already scored a try, putting it right back on the South Africans. Loveridge. Rollison. High kick across field. Pienaar's under it. Pienaar takes it to himself, staying behind the 22. Away to Bernie Fraser. High ahead. McKechnie's bearing down on Mort. Awful lot of long kicking in this match, which hasn't found the line. Rollison got it on the switch. Higginson.
I think that's one aspect of play that for a test match has been very bad, and that's the number of times the ball hasn't found touch. And at this level of rugby football, it shouldn't happen.
Coming for Loveridge. Just a little nudge ahead. Nice Porter there, and he's safely at the touchline.
The pressure's being kept on by Loveridge and Rollison, pushing South Africa right back into their 22.
That's Lockie Cameron, the new man in the back line, passing the message out. They put their hands up so that the opposition can't hear the calls. Higginson taps it down nicely. Rollison, it's the high one, it's going to come down under the H. Scramble. A knock-on rule. Knock-on and goal.
By South Africa.
So New Zealand have the loose head. Rollison judges kick nicely. It came down behind the line and there was a real scramble in there. These scrums kind of reminiscent of Johann Strauss and Perry Harris, their struggle in the third test in 1976.
And Keith Murdoch and Moff Meyerberg in 1970.
So it's Loveridge running wide for Lockie Cameron on the burst. Stewart lost it. Knock on.
Good to see Lockie Cameron coming back into Test rugby again, because after the tour of Australia last year, all the critics were writing him off. I thought he deserved another chance.
Lost. Last spotted. Trying to run it out from there. That's brave stuff. Ray Mort. No, that's Gerber. Well, the Springboks full marks for trying. That's Rob Lowe. Serpentine. This is Ray Mort. To Stockberg. Fraser intercepts. And Fraser goes down. Serpentine and over the top. The referee looking closely.
Well, it's not very often in a test match you see a side run the ball from behind their own goal line. But Naas Botha must have all the confidence in the world for his outside backs. And Gerber made the big run there.
I still think it's Fred Woodman, is it not? Was it Loveridge, no?
Yes, I see Dr. Knight there looking at him.
See the scoreboard at the top showing about 4 minutes to go. It is Fred Woodman.
And New Zealand have already used 2 replacements in this test match. They can't use any more.
So it's a little over 5 minutes to go in the match, 14-3. Tries by Stuart Wilson, Doug Rollison and Mark Shaw. Conversion by Rollison. No further trouble in the match apart from people attempting to come onto the pitch just before the kickoff. Here's that movement again when the Springboks really broke out. Begun by one of the prop forwards, Henning van Asberg, Rob Lowe, sorry. Picked it up. Serpentine. Mort. Then Stockberg. And this was the high pass which Bernie Fraser pulled down, which stopped the move. He really went looking for the touchline there. The man shading his eyes with the New Zealand blazer on, Peter Burke. He looks pretty happy. Woodman going back to position. 2 injuries in the New Zealand backs. They can't replace any more. So just on 5 minutes to go. Cockrell's throw. New Zealand put in. Collision. Hessie Pina and Ray Mort. This is Gerber and Cameron. One player who's not been so dominant today as I thought he might be is Louis Moolman. Loveridge, shovel to Rollison. Pienaar. Lots of backing behind Rollison this time. There's Moolman in on him. It's inside the 22. Dickinson was in there very quickly, did it well to support the man making the catch. New Zealand making progress with possession, and the team in the defensive side of the half, so they get the put in. There's big Louis Moolman. His 13th test match today as a lock. Played alongside 2 of the New Zealanders a few months ago in Cardiff at the World Invitation 15. And then when he played his first test in 1977, Moolman marked Andy Hayden. It was against the World Invitation 15. It was another match in which South Africa awarded official international caps. Louis Moolman. And Moolman gets, I think, one of his first two-handed catches, certainly of the half. Porter now. Du Plessis, a long pass. Pienaar's up. Ray Mort. Fraser's making his tackles. Ernie Fraser to me doesn't look as nearly as sharp. I think he's bothered by an injury. So the New Zealand winning advantage not really under threat here at the moment. 2 minutes left. The Springboks have been pretty brave towards the end here. Porter running it. Danny Gerber. Lockie Cameron hanging on. Now Ray Mort swinging a good pass. Into Moolman. And it's Henny Becker that got the try.
Well, South Africa deserved a try. They had been deprived of 3 tries by almost bad luck, and then it was Gerber that started. Now the play comes to the right, and then big Henny Becker's when Rob Lowe starts to come into the play there. Now on the right, when Mort is just tackled round the top by Gary Knight, there's number 4, big Henny Becker, and he had the power to get over in the corner for the try.
And there's Becker. Out of the view, the kick is over. So it's 14 points to 9. And South Africa are up close enough to perhaps sneak a win. The clock shows 1 minute to go. 14 to 9. I think the first test in 1956 was 14 to 9.
14-10.
So Doug Rollison really taking his time with this one. So it's all on from the kickoff. South Africa must throw caution to the wind. Even Janssen with the ball. He's well covered. Here's Moolman. Serpentine. Porter. A kick is needed. McKechnie. Calm as usual. Puts it out. Referee looking at his watch. The match is over. McKechnie put it out, and New Zealand have won, holding off a strong fight back in the last few minutes by the Springboks. And the battle is over, with New Zealand having won by 3 tries to 1 and 14 points to 9. And a big moment for Andy Dalton, captain of the All Blacks for the first time, and he's really done a fine job. Led them from the front and led them to their 14-9 win. Tries for New Zealand were scored by Rollison and Wilson in the first half and by Shaw in the second. Rollison added a conversion for 14 points. South Africa scored 1 try to Henny Becker. Nasport kicks the drop goal and a conversion. New Zealand 14, South Africa 9, and history continues with the touring team never winning a first test in a New Zealand-South Africa series. From Lancaster Park in Christchurch, this is Keith Quinn on behalf of Graham Thorne.